time writing a poem, so Lori helpfully told me that poems do not have to rhyme like I thought they did. And so it can be just about anything as long as it's poetic and lovely like that. And so I decided to take one of my stories that I'd written a while back, and I added a ton of poetic language into it until Lori told me it looked like a poem. So then I decided to have it as my poem for this exhibition. And in the poem, which is called The Final War, as you can see, it is set in the midst of a nuclear war. And the war has been going on for a number of months now, and well, the various factions have finally bombed each other out, and the winning faction is proceeding to bomb the survivors of the other factions out by destroying all of their cities and thus all their chances at life. So the protagonist is sitting in the middle of an armored column, and he is rolling through the wasteland. And so I can only read an excerpt since this is very long. So I will read the segment where they drop the bomb. All right. There is no real way to describe the explosion of a nuclear weapon. In the early days of the war, when there was still sunlight, the smoke and ashes had appeared gray and brown. But now, more and more frequently, the mushroom clouds were going up pitch black, with lightning lancing throughout them as unstable atoms and molecules split and released little flashes of energy. This was exactly what happened as the bomb went off 20 miles ahead of us, blasting another patch of Earth into oblivion. The cloud was huge, seeming to touch the very topmost part of the atmosphere, as a hot wind that I could feel through my suit swept over us, knocking a few people over. I leaned against an APC, watching the little flashes emanate from inside the cloud. The sheer thrill of seeing a bomb go off never gets old, especially if you can appreciate the huge amount of destructive energy that it puts out, quite literally disintegrating entire cities full of people. Although most of those people in question were either dead or fleeing desperately to stay ahead of us by now. The cloud stayed in the sky, blotting out even more light than usual as the radioactive particles rained down upon us, bouncing off of our suits and filters. It almost seemed to be smiling maliciously at us, as if it knew the damage it was causing and enjoyed it. Gazing at its yawning maw, I knew that I should feel at least something for the people that we just incinerated. But as I looked up at the expanding cloud of death above us, I didn't feel a thing. As I stared, ash